I want to turn to Britain's farmers, who have been roundly thrown under the bus by their own trade union, bowing to Labour's net zero zealots in a move that spells disaster for our food security. Now, their genius plan, they say, instead of protesting, is to negotiate with the government, a government that's steamrolling over these farms. Best of luck with that, I say to that trade union. But why is Labour so fixated? Think about this. Why are they fixated with wrecking British farming? Very dear to many of you at home. Renewable energy expert Gareth Phillips, who said this to a law firm, he said, historically, farmers have been reluctant to grant leases for renewable projects. Landowners will now be much more incentivised to look at leasing land to renewable developers as a way of finding new income streams. Translation, my friends. I don't speak legal speak, but I can tell you what, it's as clear as day to me. Labour's tax policies are pushing farmers to either lease or sell their land for Ed Miliband's green hysteria, slowly eroding our own food independence. And meanwhile, we're locked into Ed Miliband's sky-high energy prices, where 10-year agreement, sky-high, that even the Tories that signed net zero refused to sign. The next 10 years, if the wind don't blow and the sun don't shine, well, we're up a certain creek without a paddle. And we're reliant on Europe for 12% of our power and gas. Now, imagine if Europe gets itself into difficulty, what's going to happen then? Net zero isn't just an economic chokehold, it's a tool for wiping out our farming backbone. Energy, my friends, is prosperity. Food security is survival. If Labour can't see that, I think it's high time the rest of us did. I'm begging you, Britain, wake up to the complete and utter act of national self-harm that is net zero. Now, that's my thoughts, and I think it's clear today, you know, this wasn't me saying this. This is a legal expert who operates within the sphere of renewable contracts, and he's saying, I know why this tax policy has been devised. It's devised to screw over Britain's farmers. Your party have mugged over Britain's farmers, and they're doing it. They say, oh, well, it's just about fairness. It's not. It's about pushing their green agenda.
That is ridiculous to make that implication. I mean, one expert does not a fact make, frankly. I mean, look, the agricultural sector, and, you know, my family come from a rural area where we had a farm many years ago. They have faced an assault in the last few years, it's true, and not just under this Labour government. I completely dispute that. But they're worried about badger culling, cost of living, the cost of industrial energy, as you rightly say, rise in fertiliser costs. It's all created a perfect storm for farmers.
Who was it that passed the Climate Change Act in 2008?
Well, presumably our Labour government.
Ed Miliband,
yeah.
yes.
But
what's he doing now? Making it 10 times worse. So who's responsible for making energy-intensive industry in Britain completely uncompetitive? The highest energy costs for manufacturers in the world.
Yeah, and that's the inheritance, frankly, that we've had from the last many, many years of Tory failure and incompetence.
I actually agree with you on that. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. You're both two cheeks of the same ugly old bottom.
But to add to it, what they've done with the inheritance tax, and this is where
look at this graph here, Renee. Look at the UK. Look how wide that chart is there.
Extraordinary. It's embarrassing. In fact, Americans are showing this as an example of how far we've fallen.
2.5 times cheaper energy is in the United States of America.
Let's talk about these experts, by the way, because our energy secretary this week, or was it just the week gone by, put out a statement, didn't he, of an independent report, so-called, that happened to be where he was the sole owner or the major shareholder of the company that put it out. That's resignable.
Just briefly,
that's
Will,
resignable.
am I being completely, you know, do you think I've got a tin hat here? I'm taking it from a legal expert who said that, by the way. But yes, I do. But am I, you know, wearing a tinfoil hat in saying that actually this is behind their plans? This is why they're doing it?
Well, they're desperate, aren't they? They've set an unrealistic target and they've got an unrealistic time frame. They will do anything they possibly can. And I'll add a bit of a conspiracy onto this as well, but I think it's a legitimate one, and that is farming is so fundamentally British. These are families that often are 6, 7 generation farmers.
Yeah.
I think this is just another attack on Britishness and on our history.
I agree.
Well, and
said.
I think that comes from that they think that farmers all live in the countryside in very, very big houses and make loads of money. And the truth is...
They're all
that most
James
farmers-
Dyson.
They're all James Dyson. The truth is that some of them work 365 days of the year, from 4 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, and make £13,000
Well, this is really important as well, Renee, because the figures suggest that 1/3 of all these farmers are the ones that produce all the food for our country, which is putting our ability to survive on the line.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk, and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.